Okay, so because some of you were big fat babies last week, I'm going to go ahead and give you the recap you guys want this week. So you can put your pacifier down, Tony Jr. I got you. I'll recap your stupid little matchup. Here we go. But we're going to start with the commish here. Fire Matt Nagy beats the ever living crap out of now last. Fuck. John Vetri just gets steamrolled by 65 points. Just to put that into perspective, I could have benched Tyreek Hill, not played anyone, and still won by 24. I mean, this was a drubbing, absolute beating. Of course, you saw in the thumbnail of the video is Tyreek Hill, because I have to pay homage to my man after going out there, putting up 36.6 fantasy points, turned 12 targets into 186 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Chiefs are 2-2. In the 2 wins, Tyreek Hill has gone off. In the 2 losses, he's not been part of the game plan. Figure it out, Andy Reid. Just keep targeting Tyreek Hill. You're going to win games. There's not really much further to go into here. I don't want to, pick on the league retard here. It's not a good look to pick on the disabled. So I'm going to leave Vetri alone here. He got stomped, as you would imagine he would. I get the W. We move on. Now, we have Aaron, the whatever stupid team name, versus your deepest fantasy, and Tony Sr. knocks off Justin by 25. Pretty good little showing from Sr. here, who wanted me to point out to everyone that he is now 2-0 with Aaron Rodgers on his team. That being said, the main culprit here was Deebo Samuel, who just bitch slapped the Seahawks to the tune of 27 fantasy points, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Deebo breakout is real, and it's really hurting Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle, and pretty much everybody else on that offense. So next, looking at Justin's team, he was very fortunate to score the little amount of points that he did. He got 23 out of the Buffalo defense, who was his top scorer. I mean, if he had a normal defensive effort, he would have been down in the 70s. Justin's team is bad. He's got to make some moves. He's not going to, so he'll probably just, be hanging stickers next year. So, yeah. In any event, we don't know who that is, so we're not going to take that call. Now, we have Tony Crybaby Jr. versus Brady Joe Crybaby Garbade. So the Crybaby Bowl of 2021 here, you got Joe getting clobbered by Tony. Tony saying, you think you can cry as well as I can? I created the Crybaby Award. Tony just comes out and gives Joe something to cry about this week. Absolutely murders him. The main culprit in this one was the difference between Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady being 31 points. Mahomes is proving invaluable as a quarterback. Mahomes is it, man. He's the best quarterback in fantasy. He's probably the best quarterback in real life. It is what it is. On the negative side of things for Tony Jr., you got Chris Carson is an absolute pile of dog shit. Tony thought he was awesome. He scoffed at Jason offering him Clyde Edwards-Helaire for Chris Carson. Dude, Jason would have been getting ripped off. I'm glad that didn't get done, because now I have CEH, and he's back-to-back games over 100 yards and a touchdown. So on the positive side of things for Tony, Zeke Elliott is back, and DJ Moore is in the middle of a full-scale breakout. DJ Moore is a top 10 wideout moving forward and should be regarded as such. Joe's team, there's one positive here. He had a great game from David Montgomery. The downside is he's not going to see him again until week 11. Sorry, Joe. Should have been rostering Damian Williams, who all of a sudden looks like he's going to help me win a few games. So, Joe's team sucks. He does this every year where he starts out hot, doesn't sell high on some guys, and it gets worse from here. Should have sold high on Hawkinson, should have sold high on Mike Williams, not willing to do it. So, now he's stuck picking up the pieces, and it's going to be a long year for Joe, as it usually is. Now, I'm going to save that one for last. Hang on a second. So we're going to go to Heyman versus Reese here, where, I spoke to Heyman before last night's game, and I told him, don't be shocked if Ekeler has his best game of the season. My thought process there was that the Raiders are going into this expecting the Chargers to be very pass heavy, not necessarily going to be too worried about Austin Ekeler, and they're going to be worried about Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. And that was, in fact, the case, and Ekeler took full advantage, 26.5 fantasy points. I think I told John he would get around 25. So I was pretty close there. Ekeler with just a mammoth effort. Heyman continues to get lucky the last 2 weeks with James Conner, who's an absolute trash bag piece of garbage. But he's found his way into the end zone twice, each of the last 2 games. I mean, look, at some point, James Conner won't be on the football field because he's a really bad real-life player. But he's getting it done, falling his fat, lazy ass into the end zone every week. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. Tyler Lockett is doing his normal disappearing act, as is Adam Thielen. Jamar Chase didn't capitalize on T. Higgins being out. Now T. Higgins is back. Don't love that either. But, all in all, Heyman has a decent team. It's okay. He'll be middle of the pack this season. On Reese's side of things, his Rams bit him in the ass. They did okay. But unfortunately, when you're rostering that many guys from one team and they only score 20 points, you're probably not going to win your fantasy matchup. Derrick Henry continues to be an absolute freak beast and showcase why he actually should have been the first overall pick in all fantasy drafts. I didn't have him as number one, full disclosure. I had Dalvin Cook at number 1, Derrick Henry at number 2. So I guess I would have been wrong there as well. But, Derrick Henry's just an absolute beast. No question about it. But the reason Reese lost this is because he benched his best player. Who sits Cordarrelle Patterson? He's way better than anybody else you have. He's better than Derrick Henry. Come on, man. You got to get that guy into your lineup. Cordarrelle Patterson is an every week start moving forward, so there is room for optimism for Reese. Now, last and certainly least, you have Jason versus Jared in a game where Jason won by 42 points despite only scoring 90. This is wild. I don't think I have ever seen a guy fail to hit 50 points without an injury. Jared had no injuries. Just all of his players were just garbage. Lamar Jackson, it's time to start getting worried, man. Time to start hitting the panic button. At least he got rid of Calvin Ridley and Dalvin Cook. So, I mean, there is that. He managed to get those guys off his roster right in time for, Calvin Ridley to have the best game of his career in London this week. I don't know what to tell you, Jared. It's the curse is real, man. It's real. On Jason's side of things, he got rid of Mixon, who's hurt now. Good deal, Jason. There's not a whole lot of positives here for Jason. He didn't have a great game, but he pulled down the comfortable victory because Jared did nothing. So there you go. There's your matchup recaps, guys. I will hit you up on Thursday for the matchup previews. Good luck to everybody.